Day 2 of being commander-in-chief is in the books for President Trump, and in his first 100 days, he's promising big changes. After the president took oath on Friday, he made good on 2 campaign promises, signing an executive order on Obamacare and issuing an executive memorandum freezing all last-minute regulations ordered by former President Obama until all are thoroughly reviewed by the Trump administration. President Trump has also mended fences with the intelligence community, but during his campaign, he developed a lengthy list of first-day promises, including the border wall, stopping funding to sanctuary cities, suspending the admission of Syrian refugees. President Trump also promised to get rid of gun-free zones at school, and executive orders on trade. President Trump is coming into office with the poorest approval ratings of any incoming presidents in modern times. With a great divide in the country, can he bring Congress along on his agenda? What will happen during President Trump's first 100 days? That's our topic this half hour. And as always, we like to hear from you on Facebook and Twitter. You can send me a tweet at Sally Mack, Fox 26. Joining us now is our senior legal analyst, Chris Tritico, Democratic media consultant, Mustafa Tamiz, and Republican strategist and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. All right, he got right to work, guys. Is he going to be offered that same kind of honeymoon period that most incoming presidents are given? Well, he's got both the House and the Senate. It's the first time in a long time that you've had this where you've got all three. I can't talk. Where you got the presidency, the House, and the Senate, and all in the same branch of government. Barack Obama had it the first 2 years he was in office. Now Donald Trump has it for the first 2 years that he's in office, Jackie Bally. But coming in as an incoming president with this low approval rating doesn't give him that same argument of a mandate that other presidents have had. I want to talk first about Obamacare. He's been saying to Congress, repeal and replace at the exact same time, but the congressional leaders are not on board with that.
Well, who decided that he has the lowest approval rating? Is the same pollsters that said that he would never win in the first place? So one of the many things that Donald Trump has really just thrown out the window is all of these ratings, especially when it comes to him. That's the first thing. Second thing is Obamacare. He said whenever he was visiting with various legislators and looking at Obamacare that there were several provisions that he wanted to either replace or either to make better and easier for many constituents. So what that actually entails, we haven't seen the details yet. What he did do was order advise an executive order or implement an executive order that would loosen some of the provisions that have been so hard on so many constituents. That's the first thing he did, and that alone says that his work ethic is going to be top and far above any others. We saw that in his campaign.
Now let's talk about the Supreme Court nominee. Democrats are suggesting that they're not going to give it, they're not going to let it go through. They're not going to give it a vote. They're going to delay it for 2 years. You know, I have a strong objection to that. I did last year. I have a strong objection to it now. Are the Democrats going to do that to him?
I think that they're not going to be obstructionists just to be obstructionists, but if there's something about this person's background, then they're going to try to hold it up. And look, I think that President Trump, if he succeeds, the nation succeeds. So I hope he succeeds. So I've criticized him over and over again and will continue to be hard on him on things that I disagree with. But if he does something well, we should all applaud him and lift him up. The challenge is he signed an executive order repealing Obamacare that doesn't have any direction. There's no plan for repeal.
He didn't say repeal it. He said ease the burden. But he didn't have any direction on that.
That's the thing. He's basically come out and criticized politicians for all talk, no action. So he signs an executive order that says, you know, ease the burden without any direction as to how to ease that burden. He's saying to, you know, repeal Obamacare to Congress and replace it at the same time when there's actually no plan that nobody's been able to come up with. So this is all talk, no action, and we've not seen a plan by him or congressional leaders.
All right, let me go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
All right, President Trump didn't tweet much yesterday, but this morning he has been sending out some comments on Twitter here. His first one just coming from about 45 minutes ago says, wow, television ratings just out. 31 million people watched the inauguration, 11 million more than the very good ratings from 4 years ago. He also added that he watched the protests yesterday, but was under the impression that we just had an election. Why didn't these people vote? Celebs hurt the cause badly. And Ben weighing in this morning. Good morning to you, Ben. He says, I'm not sure if the president will get what he wants since the Senate Dems can stall, but he adds President Trump does know how to make a deal.
Well, certainly, and that's one of the things that people have been talking about. I want to talk about that first tweet that the president sent out. Why is the president of the United States tweeting about television ratings? What possible good comes out of that tweet?
Because of the underlying message. You have certain stations that took a picture of his inauguration an hour before it started and then compared it to President Barack Obama's inauguration while he was giving the speech and said these are the two audiences. It was fallacy, it was misrepresentation, and that is a perfect way of showing all of the viewers that the press has continually tried to misrepresent this man. They also said that he removed the Martin Luther King statue from the White House, which he did not. So the fact that he tweeted that is to let people know, don't believe what certain stations and media personalities are saying.
I've watched every inauguration since I was old enough to pay attention to politics, and they've talked about how many people were there every time. What difference does it make when he's got 100 days? We always talk about the first 100 days as your grace period. What difference does it make how many people watch?
It doesn't. It's the same thing during the campaign when he made a big fuss between Marco Rubio about the size of his hands. He is competitive. For everything for him, he has to have the biggest and the best. Now he's the most powerful man in the world, but he still has to have more ratings and has to do better than Barack Obama. It's unbelievable.
We got less than a minute. You got 100 days to get something done here. What are the 3 things that he should be focusing on right now? Both of you. What are the 3 things he should focus on in the first 100 days?
Well, he's made lots of promise. Let's see him deliver any one of them.
Give me 3.
Immigration, Obamacare, and the lawlessness on our police officers and law enforcement. However, when you have 62 Democrats who refuse to even attend the inauguration, that's an insult to the democracy and to our constituents. They're going to be obstructionists and do all they can to make sure he doesn't do it.
And okay.
Look, Mitch McConnell came out the very first day after President Obama was elected, and he said he would do everything he can to make sure that President Obama would not be elected for a second term. And Republicans are obstructionists the entire time he was off.
Yet President Obama had 7 appointees approved by his first day, and Democrats have not allowed the same for our current president.
We got to leave it right there. We'll be back next week, wrapping up the hottest stories of the week.
All right, we're going to have great political discussions every Sunday.